Good morning and welcome to the Daily Bible Podcast. My name is William Hemsworth. Thank you so much for joining me for today's episode. Today we're going to be taking a look at Matthew chapter 5 verses 33 through 37. So you may be wondering, why are we doing so many verses today? Normally we only do one or two verses. Well, I was looking at a way to break these up, but just to be honest, it wasn't really possible. These verses, well, one, they're fairly short. And secondly, they'd go hand in hand, that to break them up, I ran the risk of taking them out of context. And I don't want to do that. I want to give the context of what the Bible actually says. So Matthew chapter 5, verses 33 through 37 say, "Again, ye have heard that it was said to those of ancient times, You shall not swear falsely, but carry out the vows you have made to the Lord. But I say to you, do not swear at all, either by heaven, for it is the throne of God, or by the earth, for it is his footstool, or by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great king. And do not swear by your head, for you cannot make one hair white or black. Let your word be yes, yes, or no, no. Anything more than this comes from the evil one." So here we see Jesus taking on this topic of an oath. And here he's referencing Leviticus 19:12, and the Old Testament insisted that people fulfill their vows. Now, Jesus isn't saying not to take vows at all. I mean, he says not to take vows at all. But he's particularly concerned with what the Pharisees were doing. You see, the Pharisees had a practice of swearing by something other than God to give themselves an out, to give themselves less accountability. And in verses 33 and 35, Jesus is giving examples of such things. Okay, so instead of swearing to God on something to give them more accountability, the Pharisees would say, "I swear by the hair on my head." No, they could say a friend shaved it or something. I mean, who knows? The point is, they were giving themselves an out to not fulfill something they said they were going to do. All right. Now, this prohibition doesn't rule out all solemn statements. And we see that Paul actually says this in Galatians 1:20, where he says to his readers that he promises before God that he is not lying about him being an apostle. And we also read in Hebrews 6:17 that God himself confirms his promises with oaths. So the whole problem that Jesus is addressing is that oaths were being used as occasions to be deceitful. And it was done in such a way, depending on how they were sworn, that's how they were acting. So with you and I today, if we give our word on something, as faithful Christians, let's honor what we are telling people. Let's do what we say. Jesus is stressing honesty here. Honesty, truthfulness, and friendship. If you're telling someone you're going to do something, follow through. Don't back out in the last minute. I hope this clarifies these passages. Thank you for joining me on this episode of the Daily Bible Podcast. As always, if you enjoy the show, please rate it. Please share it. Thank you so much for joining me. God bless you guys. Have a great day.